Hello, everyone, and welcome to SCORE Fairfield County's live webinar on using LinkedIn to grow your business. I'm Bob Hogan, the webinar coordinator today and a business mentor here at SCORE Fairfield County. I'm going to be your host today, and our presenter is Lorraine Duncan. More on Lorraine in just a minute, but first, some brief information on SCORE. SCORE is a nonprofit national partner of the SBA with over 10,000 volunteers nationally. And locally here at SCORE Fairfield County, we have over 100 volunteers with a wide range of industry process and subject matter expertise. And we offer three primary value-added services to small business owners. First of all, we offer free one-on-one counseling, and you can access that in whatever way is convenient to you, in person, video, telephone, email. Again, whichever works best for you. And you can do that by using that yellow bit.ly link that you see on the screen or going to our website and just clicking on Request a Mentor. Secondly, we offer a wide range of educational workshops and webinars like the one today. And lastly, we offer extensive resources on our website, including tools and various pieces of information. Our next live webinar will be next Tuesday, June 10 at noon, when Nalini Gulzaran will be presenting using ChatGPT to power your marketing strategy. Again, you can find more specifics on our website, fairfieldcounty.score.org. And if you're on our website, we also have a large number of recorded webinars there that cover a wide range of business topics, and you can view those at any time just by clicking on on-demand webinars. Just some logistics about today's webinar. We have set aside time for Q&A at the end of the presentation. If you have a question, please use the Q&A button in the lower part of your screen, and we'll take as many as we can at the end. Our webinar will end at 1 o'clock to respect your time. The session is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be available on our website within the next day or so. It's now my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Lorraine Duncan. Lorraine has over 30 years in business marketing and consulting experience. She runs her own digital marketing agency, BizGone Social, where she advises small businesses on how to use social media in their marketing and guides them to online marketing solutions. She also does social media management for small businesses. Lorraine is an author of the book Shout It Out, a social media marketing guide for business owners. Currently, she teaches courses on social media, speaks to groups, and offers her own online course, 13 minutes a day on LinkedIn. Lorraine knows full well how to win on LinkedIn and will now teach you how to use LinkedIn for your business. Lorraine, it's all yours. You're on mute. Okay, you're good, but we need your screen.
I know. Okay. All right. So a little bit about me. First of all, I'd like to just thank SCORE, and I'm looking forward to teaching a little something about LinkedIn today. And I just want to thank you for spending your time on your lunch hour with me. So I launched BizGone Social in 2013. I authored the book, as was stated, the book called Shout It Out. This is my family when I'm not doing BizGone Social. I am spending time with each of my adult children, along with my husband of over 42 years. This is the book. It's on Amazon right now. I believe it's either free or 99 cents. I'm not even sure. It needs to be updated, but there's still a lot of golden nuggets in it. So what we're going to learn today is making LinkedIn profiles client attractive. I mean, I know some of you here have always.
Lorraine, we're not seeing your screen. Can you share your slides?
I am. I have them up. Hold on. There's something going on. There's something going on. Hold on. Ugh. Okay. So there you go. Now I can do it. I had to
Okay,
turn on the video.
we can see you, but we can't. We
I
haven't.
I know. I'm aware of that. Thank you.
Okay,
Somebody kept on turning off my video. I can't do anything from here, just to let you know. So, anyways, this is my family, blah, blah, blah. This is the title of my book. Okay. So, what we're going to learn today is making LinkedIn profiles client attractive, making time for LinkedIn, learning how to reach out to your target market, applying some growth hack strategies. So, these are just some statistics. You can read them at your leisure. Take a screenshot if you'd like. Okay, I'm still seeing the chat saying that they don't see my screen. I'm sharing it.
Correct, but can you maybe try sharing again? Because I'm not seeing it either.
I know, but I hit play and this is
I
unbelievable.
think you need to hit share screen.
That's what I did.
Oh, there we
Not,
go. There we go.
this is not my first rodeo.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways,
Okay. All good.
okay, good. All right. So, here's some statistics. A reason why you should be on LinkedIn if you're B2B. And you don't want to really miss this opportunity, is what I'm saying. So take a screenshot if you'd like. Some more very interesting stats. And the one that I like is 50% of LinkedIn members report they are more likely to buy from a company they engage with on LinkedIn. So, and these stats come from LinkedIn. So that's that. Um, my newest slide is basically 62% of marketers say LinkedIn generates leads for them, more than twice as much as the next highest social channel. And I mean, I can attest to that. I get most of my leads from LinkedIn, and I get most of my clients from LinkedIn. 80% of marketers have reported that LinkedIn has been their most successful platform of B2B. And then you could just take a screenshot, and that would be great. And we'll move on. There are three kinds of LinkedIn users. Hopefully, you are the superstar. If not, after today's webinar, you will be a superstar. So the three type of LinkedIn users, they're the ghost. They've set up a profile, they haven't even completed it, and they don't engage, post, or connect. Then you have the recruiters or job hunters, and then you have the superstar, someone who uses it to engage, get clients, meet people, and network. So making LinkedIn profiles attractive. Okay, how do we do that? Why should we complete our profile? Well, the stats that I just showed you before is a reason why. And here's another reason. Everybody, when I go to somebody's profile, and I've talked to other LinkedIn users about that, because before they connect with somebody, they actually look at somebody's profile. So you want to make sure that you are seeing, that you are, how do I put this? You want to make sure that you complete your profile so when people come to your profile, they're actually seeing a complete you. And I mean, a lot of people won't even connect with you if you don't have a complete profile. I mean, that's one of my rules of thumb. If you didn't put a profile picture, I'm not going to connect with an invisible person. So you just want to make sure that everything's completed. And so here's some important elements of a profile that I think that are very important that you should have completed. Of course, a photo. Now, this should not be a food photo, a dog photo, a blurry photo. I really recommend taking time to get a professional shot and make yourself look really great. The other thing is you want to have a headline. So a headline, something that sticks out. So like for instance, if you are a real estate agent, okay, if you put for your headline real estate agent, well, so did every single real estate agent out there. And I believe that the last time I looked at real estate agents in the state of Connecticut, in the New York area, I mean, there's over a million of them. So, I mean, you want to make sure you stick out, because what's gonna get somebody attracted to you if you have, if your profile sticks out. All right. You want to have your current job, and make sure that, paper boy or paper girl isn't at the bottom of that list. Use the jobs that are relevant to what you're doing today. Um, you want to make sure that you're linking media in the featured items. And I'll kind of go off and show you something if I have time, but I probably won't, because there's so much to cover. So just make sure that you have opened up your featured. And if you need help with that, you can always reach out to me later, and I'll teach you how to do that. Make sure your summary statement or your about me statement is engaging, no longer than 2 paragraphs. You want to have, again, when it comes to experiences, they should be relevant to what you're doing today. So, like, for instance, on my profile, I mean, I do digital marketing, but one of my jobs prior to that was I was a communications director at a local church nearby. So skills, you want to make sure you put your top three skills. You want to have your education. This is Fairfield County. It's like kind of not the Midwest. People in the Midwest don't really care as much about your education as somebody in Fairfield County does. Everybody wants to know what school you're going to, what school you graduated, blah, blah, blah. So make sure you put that in. And also, it's putting your education is also important because sometimes you can go to your school's alumni page and you can connect with people on that. And that, I mean, I've gotten clients through doing that. I went locally to Fairfield U and Sacred Heart University, and literally I got like so many great connections through that with people that I've connected with. You want to make sure you have at least 50 contacts before you start really using LinkedIn. Hopefully everybody here does have that. If you don't, start connecting with people that you've met at networking groups and stuff like that. And make sure that you do have a LinkedIn profile URL that is not a number after it, but says, like mine says, Lorraine Eckert Duncan. So that's that. And then, just some quick things about branding, because branding is so important. So you want to fill in everything, okay? You want to network, okay? And making sure, just make sure that everything is in line when you're networking. When you send something, you know, send it from your business, and make sure that, have always have have interesting titles, you know, especially in your LinkedIn profile. Always feed your, I'm going to go through all this in detail, but you want to make sure that you're visible. And an interesting thing is what we all forget. We all do email. Just make sure your LinkedIn channel is in your email signature. Take a screenshot, feel free to. All right. So 1 minute, I want you just to write down, if you're at your desk right now, just write down one thing that you're going to update in your profile. So making time to be consistent. All right. So I say this to everyone. If you're not going to make time, here's the deal. If you're not going to make time to spend time on LinkedIn and you want to use it for your business, if you're not going to do that, just you may as well leave now because this would be a waste of your time. So make sure that you are consistent. Now, what does that mean? It means being on at least, if you're going to be on, I I mean, I'm 13 minutes a day. So I'm on every day and I am making sure that I am engaging or connecting with somebody, or reaching out to somebody that I'm following up. I'm reading all my notifications. I'm doing the do. So what I suggest, and it's really, is just show up daily. Now weekends is an if. Okay, I'll just give you this story. So, and it's my personal story, is that when I first started using LinkedIn, they said once a week, go on once a week. All right. Hey, if you can only go on once a week, then do it. But be consistent with going on once a week. I know somebody who's posting every Monday and they are killing it on LinkedIn. So you can do that. But once I started showing up daily, and I even so I pre-scheduled some of my posts going out on LinkedIn, and literally I started to get more engagement and more people following me and more people looking at my profile. And that's what you really want. You want people to be looking at your profile. All right. And the next thing is have a daily intention what to do. It's like, so some days what I do is I'll decide that I'm going to just go through everybody's profile that wants to connect with me. And then I'll connect with people. One day I'll reach out to people. One day I'll try to make new connections. So those are like some of the things. One day I'll read all my notifications and get caught up. So those are some of the things that you can, one day I'll just create content for the next month. So decide, like what you're going to do, have that daily intention of what you're going to do each day. I even have a daily intention of when am I going to go on. I don't really look at most of my stuff until at lunchtime. So I don't read emails until after lunchtime, and I don't actually, during lunchtime, and I don't, because I don't want emails to take over my day, and I don't want LinkedIn to take over my day. So I go on at about 12. Sometimes I go on in the morning really briefly to see if there was any follow-up. So sometimes somebody writes to me, hey, I'm interested in blah, blah, doing work with you. And then I follow up with them, and then I see if there's any follow-up. And again, if spend time daily, but block time out. So, I mean, you don't have to be posting every day if you don't want to, but you should be engaging and block time out. Maybe you're going to do it at lunchtime. Maybe you're going to do it after breakfast. Maybe you're going to do it the first thing when you get into the office. However, whatever that looks like for you, and make sure you're participating. If somebody comments on one of your posts or reaches out to you, you owe it to them to either, like reject their reaching out or to not, to do it, to reach out, to accept their connection. So that's totally up to you, but you want to be an active participant. Take 1 minute and think about a time that you're going to block out each day. And it does, like I said, it doesn't have to be 16 hours. It could be as much as 13 minutes. It could be 30 minutes. It could whatever time you want it to be. I know somebody that does it 5 minutes a day. So I mean, you pick the time, but just pick it. So reaching out to your target market, okay, it's important that that's what you're doing. So when I'm looking at when I look at my profile, right, and I see that, oh, you know how you get that little sign that says these people have been viewing your profile. Well, I look at that every day to see who's been looking at my profile. And if it's all social media person or digital marketing agencies, then I am not hitting my target market. So there was one time I went on and like every single person who viewed my profile was a, a digital marketing agency. And it was like, okay, I'm not hitting the right target market. So then I started being more specific and looking, and I tweaked my profile a little bit, and that's where you're tweaking it, so like be specific, you in that little tagline underneath the title, you can basically say I work with blah 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 doing blah blah blah. So like say you worked with digital marketing agencies. I work with digital marketing agencies to get them more clients, or I work with restoration companies to get them more clients. I work with whatever that is. You can put that in that little paragraph underneath the title. So that's something you can do is like, so who's your target market? Okay. So of course, potential clients is what I really just talked about, but also, like who are they? Think about who they are, where they hang out. Okay. So I recently was working with an attorney who is in other, law groups, but is that really where they want to hang out? So you want to think too, also, who are their strategic partners too? So who are they? You know, Strategic partners are really good. So reaching out to them, that could be a target market because they could be strategic partners. Or again, they could be potential clients. Or what you want to look at is who is your bulk of your clients you have right now. So like, it comes and goes with me right now. For me, I'm working a lot in the service industry with a lot of service companies. So not a lot of them are really on LinkedIn. However, I've gotten a few through that. But I also work with a lot of coaches. So coaches are very easy. They're on LinkedIn like crazy, and just a great place. So where are they hanging out? Of course, they're hanging out on LinkedIn, but there's also groups for coaches. And depending on what kind of coach, I always like to kind of work with the executive coaches. So, but anyways, so you want to really think about your target market, who you're trying to reach out to. Are they on LinkedIn? And it's like I work for a lot of commercial real estate people, so I go on and I try to connect with some commercial real estate people. And sometimes finding out what they like, because it can also help you with where they're hanging out and what they're doing and how you can connect with them. So it's not always on LinkedIn, but if like for instance, they they follow certain newsletters, or you see them when they connect to a newsletter or whatever, or they're following certain people, or you see they have some connections that you have. You can kind of tell what they're doing on LinkedIn. Take 1 minute, think about who your target market is, and think about maybe that first little reach out that you might do to connect to them. This is the most important thing here because you don't want to be a spammer. I used to be one of these people that I felt like you had to put on content, you had to put a call to action on every single post. I am not, I am not someone who puts a call to action on every post anymore. And one of the reasons is you want to post, content that solves a problem. Okay? You want it to be like videos, articles, and blog posts. I just recently in March attended Social Media Marketing World, which is an awesome event. And everybody was saying that short videos are killing it on LinkedIn. I have a client that I work for right now that we're doing short videos, and they really are doing well. So you want to make sure that you do have some video content, okay? And also articles are great, but some of your content you should do a newsletter. And I don't have time to go into newsletters today, but the value of doing a newsletter on LinkedIn is it's how do I put this? It's probably the best, better than, your weekly email you send out if you send out a weekly email. Because what happens is that you create like a whole overall title for your newsletter. So for instance, my newsletter is brand, market, and connect. Okay. And then basically each edition is a new title, so whatever I'm going to write about, I put it on. And so when you initiate it for the first time, okay, so because you have to initiate it, so you have to have something to do for the first time. So you get your newsletter set up. Then from there you do your title. Then from there you send it out. It gets posted on LinkedIn, and then people subscribe. That's the first time you put your newsletter out. That is the first time everyone will subscribe. And anyone who subscribed will, every time you post that newsletter, I do mine. I haven't done one lately. I've been taking a little sabbatical. However, what you want to do is it just actually, but I do newsletters for other people. So basically, what you want to do is you want to commit to, like, is it going to be once a month, once a week, twice a week? I don't recommend twice a week. That's a lot of content. And you could actually take one blog post and make 6 to 7 social media posts out of it. So you want to be very strategic with how you post your content. But if you're doing once a week, which is or once a month, right? Once you post it, and every other month after that, an email gets sent too. So anybody who has subscribed, so the big bulk, like my first time I did a newsletter, I got over 500 subscribers. That doesn't happen anymore, but what I'm saying is those 500 subscribers, they literally get an email in their inbox about the blog post, about the newsletter. And if you write a blog, you can actually use that in your newsletter. So you can, definitely repurpose your content. This is what other people do. I just thought, they do tips, they do advice, they share activities, events, pictures, videos. Like I said, I think videos are the best right now. Articles, what they do or who they are. I'm not so fond of that one only, but I put it there because some people have a creative way of doing it. But you want to try to be careful about always doing I in every post. So, and then recommendations. Recommendations, you can give recommendations. That's a really nice thing to do. And you can actually share a recommendation and post it, make a nice little graphic and post it. Take 1 minute to think about what kind of content you would like to use. And I highly recommend in your content strategy to please, please add video. People, if you look at people in a restaurant or anywhere they are, they have their phones on, they're viewing TikTok videos, okay, with the sound off. All right. And LinkedIn has captions, so it's really good. All right. So let's move on. Let's see where I am at time. Okay. So accepting connections that make sense. So my number one question that I always get is, do I accept everyone? And my question to you is no. However, for me, I'm an open networker, so you could be a closed networker, only accept people you know. And then for me, I accept people that I do know or don't know. With this exception, I actually have like a rule. I need it like most people, except if you're coming in from one of my webinars, because I know some people are just starting out on LinkedIn. But literally what I do is I look for 500 or more. I make sure their profile is complete. And if they have a lousy picture or a lousy cover photo, I am not going to accept them. And because a lot of times people want to connect with you so they can spam your connections. So I don't really, again, I really don't want to, you know, accept everybody. So who are they? You want to do potential clients? You definitely want to, like, if you work with, for instance, photographers, okay, then if a photographer wants to connect with you, it's a yes. And then you decide what your criteria is. Should they have like 200, 300, 400, 500 contacts? Should they be, are they on LinkedIn? Look to see if they've posted recently. And then the people that you want to, you, you also want to collaborate, like the people who you want to collaborate with, like I do some work with, some website designers and a few other people that I like to collaborate with. So you can actually, do that too. Um, so I don't have any other tips with this other than I know that there's some rules around, LinkedIn says you should only connect with people you know. Well, if people are reaching out, the reason for that rule, okay, is that you don't get spammed or hacked, okay? But if you're connect with somebody who's an established business owner, you look at their profile, you see if they're posting, you see if you have any mutual friends. I have a lot of connections, so like there's a lot of mutual friends. Do I know all my connections? But most of the people that I've connected with were from, teaching events that I've done, from motivational weekends that I went away with on for networking. I do a tons of in-person networking. I do chamber. I was in BNI for years. I'm in another exclusive networking group now that's, only for whatever your niche is. So most of the people I connect with are really people I know. But there comes a point where if you're marketing on LinkedIn, you do have to connect with people you don't know. I mean, if you connect with your friends and family and people who do the same thing you do, like, so for instance, you work in a real estate agency, if you're a realtor, correct? Well, is it wise to connect with every single real estate agent in the world? How is that going to get you business? However, if you're a real estate agent, a good strategic partner would be a good commercial real estate person because they don't do other real estate. So they can refer you. So you want to, always be thinking about that. So it's not going to be 3 minutes, a minute again. Just, think about who you want to reach out to. Who are you going to accept connections from? Maybe make a few rules for yourself, you know, and then again, so you're going to connect with connections that make sense, and then you're going to reach out to connections that make sense. And it's the same thing. Don't just connect with anyone. This is not trick or treating to see who can get the most connections on LinkedIn. It's making things make sense. Can this person help me? Can I help this person? A little bit out of give, here. You want to, you really do want to give here a little bit. Don't connect with people just to spam them. Nothing I hate more. And I know if you're on LinkedIn all the time, you know that when you connect with somebody and they connect with you, you decide they're gonna connect with you for the first time. What happens is as soon as you connect, all of a sudden this message, 4 paragraphs come in your notifications, and I'm thinking to myself, who has time to read 3 paragraphs talking about yourself? Seriously. I mean, nobody. I've never done business with somebody who wrote me 3 paragraphs in a notification. Don't do it. And always, I'm a big thing. Don't use that generic message that LinkedIn gives you to use. Give a reason for connecting. Hey, I met you at the chamber last night. We spoke about this. And this is what I do. If it's something, if we talked about business, like if we talked about marketing or something, I usually try to find an article. I go to like Forbes or B2B or Business Newsweek, and I send them an article if they have something in their niche, or if I've written something in their niche, or if I have something in their niche that would be helpful to them, that would really help them. Come out of a place of giving when you're reaching out. Tell them why you want to reach out to them. Hey, it's not like this. Hey, I'm reaching out to you because I want to sell my widget. Okay, no, no, that's no. And I don't think I have to tell anybody this anymore. Um, you know, I'm an extrovert. I love people. I'm a relationship person, and everything I do is about relationships. And for me, for LinkedIn, I'm not trick or treating for to see who has the most connections, because I could have the most connections. I mean, there's people out there that have over 100,000 connections. I don't. I don't want that many. I can hardly keep up with the ones that I have connected with. So, think about, but you want to make sure that the people that are in if think about this. I think there was a BNI, I think is the guy who founded BNI, Meisner. He said, if you were locked in the room with 5 people, who would you want those 5 people to be? You know? And, because, the bottom line is we are the 5 people that we hang out with. All right. So your connection should make sense. And when they're connecting with you, when you're allowing them to connect with you, that means you are a person that's worth connecting to. Don't start out with spamming them about, your widgets or whatever else you're selling. Take time to think about who you're going to reach out to, and then, you add it with who you're going to accept to when they're reaching out to you. Okay, I'm going to do a few growth hacks here. How to succeed in LinkedIn, growth hack number 1, because I promised some growth hacks here. Just don't approve connection and do nothing else. Take time to learn how LinkedIn can be best used for you. So take the time. All right. A lot of people, I don't know what people are going to be asking me at the end, but I know I get a lot of questions about, well, should I use Sales Navigator and Premium? No, don't. Not yet. Okay. Get consistent. Be a rock star first, and then if you need it, then you buy it and get the free you get a free 14 days. I don't know what they're giving now. I think they give me a link. I don't get anything out of it, but I think it gives people 14 days. Anyways, use some of the functions and the tools and the services. So yeah, do definitely use tools in the services they have if you need them, but make sure you know how to use them. There's a lot of people out there that use Sales Navigator wrong. You know, if you're going to do searches, you can do a lot of searches in that search bar. Just get Sales Premium, I should say. So that, I mean, and then the Sales Navigator is if you want to, like the big, one of the biggest things out there is HR. A lot of my clients will need certain people in HR. Sales Navigator is awesome for that. So you want to use that. And then you can use groups to brand yourself. I haven't really talked about that, groups at all. So I'm just going to go into them a little briefly. Okay, and here's a little bit of strategy. The numbers are probably a little bit more. I don't have the 2025 numbers yet. February just came out with some new numbers. So that was one of my slides above with stats, the third one in. However, just think about there's probably about 3 million groups, maybe more. And there's about 8,000 new groups. I'm not going to read all this. You can take a screenshot of this, but here's my take on groups. Find a good group. What's a good group? Someone where you go into that group and you don't see spam messages all the way across. Buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. Make sure the group is active. Make sure the administrator is actually deleting posts when people are spamming. If it's an educational post, those are things to post. Also, when you join a group, so say that your target market is photographers, we'll just pick them. Basically go to one of those groups. If they let you join, okay, some are open, some are closed. Some you have to be a photographer to be in. But so join the ones that they allow you to open, but with a lot of people in it. And then it tells you how many members. And literally you can connect with some of those members without even using, and you can like some, if a photographer, writes an article about, the best time for outdoor pictures is at 4 o'clock, blah, 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 but always, whatever tips they're going to share, you can like that and comment on that. So these are just a few things. You can start your own group. I have one. All people do is spam in it, and I don't really have time to delete every spam message. So I kind of just like, okay, is this really worth my time and effort? Probably not. And so you have to decide for you, okay, if you're gonna, owning your own group is really important. But if it's a great thing for community, and if you can create that community, but you really have to moderate it. One of my clients that I moderate their group for them. We don't have an open group, so they have to actually, answer some questions to do that. And then, you can actually, if you're posting something educational on LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever, you can actually just repurpose that and put it in a group every once in a while. Sometimes groups will allow you to post on a certain day. I like that. In fact, if I, ever rehash my group again, I will literally have a certain day where everybody can post. Like I'll do like A to C can post on Monday, I'll divide it up in 5 days and do it that way. All right, growth hack number 3. It's something that this is the first time I'm ever really discussing this on um on my webinars. So this is a first time deal here. So I have always said that everybody always asks me, should I have a profile or a company page? Okay. And I've always said that I felt like pages are a waste of time. And you can quote me on that. I've always said that. I recently have changed my mind about that. And I'll tell you why. It's like you can get sort of a 2 for 1 if you're doing stuff with your company page. So what I recommend is if you have your profile page, keep that going. That's your personal branding, right? And also when people like if people want to do business with me, they don't want yes, they're going to eventually do business with Biz Go on social, but their first connection is me and they see a picture of me and they see all my stuff on my personal profile. Okay, so a company page really doesn't allow for that, but it's connected in a sense. What I suggest if you want to grow your company page and if you have one, what I suggest is you engage from your company page. All right. So, and here's the thing, here's what you want to do is, and you can also post from your company page too. Now, I don't think, can you see me or you just see the slides? I'm just curious. Can somebody tell me? Bob, is that
Yeah, yeah, they can see you and the slides.
okay? Perfect. So good. You can see my hand here. All right. I just want to share why I was never so big on company pages. So in the news feed that everybody's feeding and all the posts are coming through that news feed, they're coming through, right? The top one that gets posts are the LinkedIn from the personal profiles. Then this is the surprise, everybody. The next one down is video. Guess what? If you've learned anything today, get some video content out there. Guess what the next one is? Paid ads. I'm not, I do everything organic. I'm a big organic person. Not everybody can afford LinkedIn ads. I'm not a fan of LinkedIn ads. It's a bid. It could be pricey. They do have a boost. It's not that bad, but it's like if you want to boost a post on LinkedIn and Facebook has it and Instagram has it, right? You're better off going to Mohegan Sun and gambling because if you don't know what you're doing with advertising, don't do it. Hire a professional to do it. Um, and most of you that are on this webinar can really do it organically, and it's not that hard. So again, so we have the advertisement, right? And then guess what's next? Then the company pages come through. So there are ways to get your brand noticed, and you want to get your brand noticed. That's why you take the time to comment from your company page. Who are you commenting to? Now, these aren't your friends that already know you as, these aren't my friends that already know me, for instance, as Lorraine Duncan. These could be like other companies that could be either strategic partners with you or are people that you can do business with. And if you're commenting, like say they write something about something, an event that they're hosting, you could like comment on that and share that and help them. I have a client that I work with, he's a commercial real estate agent. And if there's like a webinar that he's going to, he always promotes that. He just says, hey, I'm going to this. It looks interesting. Be somebody else's, that's the way of giving. That's how you're giving and stuff. You can cheer on your partners and other people, you know. And my motto has always been you support people first and you gain later. Sometimes by giving first, somebody will remember you down the line and say, yeah, like just this morning, I had a discovery call with someone that I never did business with. We literally were in a mastermind together. He remembered me from that. When he's a commercial real estate guy and literally, not a commercial, he's a regular real estate guy. And he literally, he posts all the time. He has drones and everything. And I share, I like, so I always stay in mind of people. You never know when they're going to reach out to you. And lo and behold, I had a discovery call. Does it happen right away? No, but that's what awareness is, and that's what everybody's building. So a couple closing thoughts before, do I have time for closing thoughts before question and answer?
Yes, you
Yes.
do. Yes, you do.
All right. So just some things that I want to talk about with, your community. Your LinkedIn is your community. All right. And how you use it and how you is a reflection on you. So you always want to make sure everything you post is relevant. I tell this to everybody, stay away from religion and politics. There's no place for it online. And don't do it, okay? It will ruin your reputation, okay? So don't do it. Also, you want to be very authentic. Be who you are. If I got on LinkedIn and say, "Hey, sunshines, how are you?" People would think I was crazy and it wasn't me at all. So be authentic. Use your voice. And you want to go beyond, So here's the thing is remember I said a little bit about don't use call to actions all the time because that's really spamming. So here on this side is lead generation. Okay. I would just keep it on this side. Here on this side is lead generation. And on this side is thought leadership. Okay. And community and all that. You want to be on this side. You want to be educational, you want to be giving, you want to be authentic. And then the other thing you want to be is be empathetic. Maybe you're doing great at your business. Maybe you're landing it with your $100,000 clients and whatever. Be empathetic. Some people are not doing well out there. So, or some people just have a bad day and someday they write, "Oh, I just lost this client that I had for 5 years." Whatever that is, just be authentic, be you, and that's my closing thoughts. I want to give time for, some questions. And like I said, what I wanted to say is that there's my cell phone number. You can text me, and just identify. Here's again, this is a good lesson and a teaching moment for everyone. tell me where you heard, like I'm not going to answer a random text if they say nothing. So tell me where you know me from. And the same thing if you're going to connect with me on LinkedIn. Um, there is a bit.ly link here that has LinkedIn Growth Success Blueprint. I want to give that all to you. I'll actually, as soon as I stop my sharing screen, I'll literally send it to you because for some reason my computer's not letting me do that today. I'll send it in the chat. All right, so it's to question time.
Okay. Thanks, Lorraine. We're going to now use the rest of the time for Q&A, and we'll take as many as we can until the top of the hour. Just a reminder, if you have a question, please use the Q&A feature, not the chat. It's hard to sift through all the stuff in the chat. So if you put something in the chat, please move it over to the Q&A. And our first question we'll start is from Michelle, and you may not have these handy, but you might know where to get them. Michelle's question is, when you were talking about stats at the beginning of your presentation, her question is, what are the stats for the catering business?
Oh, I don't know individual niches. But so I know I worked with a caterer that's, I've worked with a lot of people and LinkedIn does well. And there's also a really great caterer. He's not really a caterer, he's a staffing for caterers and staffing for corporate places. His name is Cameron Toth, and he's doing well on LinkedIn, but he's a huge connector on LinkedIn. Um, so you know, the stats would be different for everyone anyways, but you could always just Google it. What are the stats for catering businesses, on LinkedIn? And you can even try a chat GBT for that and see if they give you something. But then just check it to make sure that it's accurate.
That's great. Our next one is from Donna. I'm a natural healthcare practitioner with a women's health focus using Chinese medicine, nutrition, etc., and life and health coaching. Is LinkedIn the right platform for me? I find it is very corporate slash business, but anyone could be my client potentially. Is it better to give information slash articles or post about me and my practice?
I would do a newsletter and then some behind the scenes too. And remember the thing about I mentioned it briefly, but thought leadership. A lot of people I'm currently going to get acupuncture, and a lot of people don't know the value of it. They think it's hokey pokey sometimes. So the more you educate, that would be on all the channels. You know, the more you educate people on, health and wellness and Chinese medicine, because there's great value to it, you want to make sure that you're always educating. And yes, LinkedIn is definitely a place. You know how stressed, in fact, the acupuncturist that I go to, most of her clients are corporate clients, just to let you know that. So yes, it's a good place. Education, this is for everybody across the board. Education, educate people so they don't understand what you do. It's like a deer in headlight. They're looking like, well, what do you do? So make sure they know.
Great advice. Uh, Next one is from Ed. This is when you were talking about using videos on LinkedIn, and he's asking, you recommended short videos, and he's saying, how short a video?
Honestly, no more than 2 minutes, you know. They even have something, in that profile picture you have, you can actually do a little teeny video. That's my next project, by the way. But I've been wanting to do this for like ages and I still haven't done it. So, it's always the shoemaker's kids that don't have shoe. It's the LinkedIn expert that doesn't do everything on LinkedIn. Make That's a really great place because you can do a little introductory video of who you are. If you're an attorney, that's the best, even on your website, you should have a video.
Great.
Short videos. Oh,
Totally.
by the way, they have something on YouTube that's called YouTube Shorts, which are killing it. And I believe it automatically now does transcripts. You can take those transcripts, make it into short content. You can take that video. There's, what's the name of the, oh, I'm going blank. There's an AI thing that actually breaks the video up, but I'm going blank right now. I used it for a while when I had my podcast was up and running. So just do, short videos. Look to see what some of the shorts are 10 minutes. You don't want a 10-minute video. So do it two
Agree.
minutes. 2 minutes, I think is good. 2, 3 minutes. Attention
Yeah.
spans are small now.
very small. I totally agree with that. Um, next one is from Shahana. How do you post from your company page as it is connected to your personal profile?
Yeah, so it will ask you. So when you create a company page, it's because you have a personal profile. And literally, what will happen is as you post on your company page, it will say, do you want to post to your profile page? So I work for one of the service masters, and literally, I post from the service master, and then it will ask me, do I want to post to the personal profile? And I always say yes, I do. It's not mine. It's the marketing manager's profile because you want to be top of mind. And like I said, remember the personal profile is number one. It's still number one, but you want to get that company page out. So it will look like you made two posts, but not everybody will see it as two posts. So, it will look like you posted two, which you did. You'll see it as two posts, but some people will see as it comes through their feed, some people will see the personal profile, others will see the company.
Okay. Um, Here is one from MS. Should we get Sales Navigator with personal or a business page account?
It's you have to do SalesNet because it's a credit card that they ask for to keep on file. It's a monthly subscription. And I think they do offer an annual now. So you can pay for the whole year, but it's always a good savings if you can afford to pay for the whole year. But if you do monthly, um, it's always through the personal profile. You're doing all your searches through the personal profile.
Okay. Um, Here's just a request from Lena for to provide. Can you maybe put your cell in the chat? She said they missed it. So
Sure.
um,
You can go on to the next
yeah,
one.
yeah. No, I'm just going down because we had another one for the same request here. Okay. Here's one from Kara. Is it smart to rehost your company page posts on your personal LinkedIn page?
To repost, if you didn't post it before, you want to, Google is very connected to LinkedIn, so you don't want sometimes I would switch the content. Maybe the graphic's really good, so you can repost the graphic. But if you didn't do it in the beginning and you're going 10 weeks back, you certainly can repost it. I repost for people all the time, depending on if it was you want to make sure it's a unicorn post, that it got some engagement. Um, and you want to look for those things, those unicorn posts, those posts that are trending. And by the way, when you're commenting from your company page, make sure that it is a trending post, that people are actually commenting on it. So the people that are commenting on it actually can see, because remember, when you post, they'll see your company and your little title. So it's kind of a clever little way.
Okay. The next one, not sure if it's a typo. I'm a dog baker. I'm not sure that's a dog baker or dog walker. Is LinkedIn a good platform for me to advertise?
Sure. I mean, think about it. Do you think that everybody loves their pets? I mean, and they leave them home all day by themselves. Some of them go to doggy daycare now, but yeah, sure. I mean, my daughter had an Australian cattle dog, and literally she had to send it to doggy daycare during the workday because the dog has to run. So yeah, it's a great place. But remember, you have to establish credibility. So it's not a one and done thing. Post education, you could do statistics post, 9 out of 10 um, dog owners leave their dogs home alone during the day, and this is why you shouldn't leave your dog home alone during, you know. And people leave cats for weekends. Who would have thought? I don't have a cat, so I'm allergic. But yeah, so seriously.
Okay, here's another one from LR. How can you incorporate podcasts on LinkedIn?
So on my uh, in the featured section, uh, so if you have your featured section open, okay, and if you don't, it's really on the top of the profile. reach out to me personally and I can show you where you can connect it. But yes, and it's basically just a link. The name of your podcast, it's a link and you just go and that's how you would get connect your podcast. And you could post that too. I used to post my podcast to my LinkedIn page. So depending, I believe, yeah, most of the podcast hosts have a say share to socials, and it you can share to the socials. LinkedIn and Twitter are very fussy with third party. So sometimes you have to do it manually. So you have to download the podcast and then do it manually. If you're doing a once a week podcast, you could either do it yourself or you can have it done for you.
Okay. We still have a couple minutes if anyone's got any last questions. There is one here that was in the chat earlier that we didn't get to from Harry. Could I get into trouble if I send a connection invite to someone I don't know? Is it against LinkedIn's rules? I think you covered some of that, but maybe you can just reiterate it.
Nobody's ever complained when I connected with somebody I didn't know. However, if you're one of these people who like keep on trying to connect, or once you connected, you spam them, they could report you. But most likely, what they'll do is they'll just unsubscribe from you and block you. That's what I do. The only people that I complain about is that LinkedIn is not a dating service. So every once in a while, I get a dating request, and so I report them right away. It's usually some army sergeant. It's really creepy. Don't be creepy and try to get a date on LinkedIn. It's weird. So like, yeah, I report that. And there's a place to do that.
Okay, I don't see any more questions. Any last thoughts, Lorraine, before I wrap it up? Or
No, just if you have questions or you need to know where something is, I'm available. You can text me, not at 12 midnight, but during working hours, and I'll get back within 48 hours to you, depending on what it is. Sometimes I'm really busy, like I'll be going into a big launch later on, so I'll be kind of busy for a little bit, but I usually reach out to everybody within 48 hours from webinars. Do
okay,
download that that free PDF that I'm sending, the LinkedIn Growth Success Blueprint. Kind of shares a little bit what I do, but it gives you like a blueprint. So
okay, perfect. Just a reminder then to everyone, the session has been recorded and will be available on the SCORE website on your on-demand webinars within the next 24 hours or so. Our next live webinar will be next Tuesday, June 10th at noon with Nalini Gulsaran. We'll be presenting using ChatGPT to power your marketing strategy. And again, if you're more specifics on their website regarding that webinar. Again, if you would like to take advantage of the free individual counseling, you can use the link that we showed earlier on the screen, or just go to our website and click on the Request a Mentor button. We'd really appreciate if you could fill out your evaluations that are being sent at the end of the webinar. They really help us going forward. And on behalf of SCORE, I'd like to thank everyone for attending today's live webinar. And in closing, a special big thank you to Lorraine for presenting today. So enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. And thanks again, Lorraine. It was great.
Great, thank you.